Welcome to Onshape for Makers, where we are creating models to go to the shop. Tonight's project is a sheet metal gusset that we are going to craft using a table design that is already in place. We're going to fit the gusset by creating a block in the corner, sculpting the block, and then converting it to sheet metal. The sheet metal conversion is very simple using the Onshape tools, and it takes just a couple of mouse clicks to do it. So stick with us, and here we go. This is the drawing or blueprint or sketch or whatever of a gusset that we're going to use as a go-by. It came out of a standard online parts catalog, so it'll give us something to start with. Now we go to our free Onshape account and get started creating our gusset. Before we get started, in the way of a public service announcement, if you go to learn.onshape.com, there is a bunch of free training, really good professional training under self-paced courses. There's all kinds of things you can look at, take courses. There's check parts you can work. Tonight's sheet metal work is covered in a course. You just click on it, get started, work your way through it, and get a virtual check mark. It is all free and it is all very professional. Okay, tonight's model, we are starting in a new studio. On the hamburger menu, we'll go to workspace units, go to millimeters, grams for default units, check mark, and away we go. Okay, starting our drawing after our little public service announcement, we will go to top, select sketch, do N for normal, and up it comes. We will draw the two rails for the table, starting with a rectangle. We will go down and over, say 125 over, and the width of the rail is 1 inch, and so we'll type in 1 inch and tell Onshape we're working that dimension in inches. As long as you tell it, it's very good about not caring. So we will go up 150. No, we're going to go 1 inch on the width and 150 up, and do a check mark, and that is sketch 1. If we extrude those up to make the corner of our rail, and we make them 2 inches high, and a check mark, then this would be the inside corner of the rails under the table. This plane would theoretically be the undersurface of the table, and where we want to build our part is in this corner. So we will start a new sketch, and we will start it again on this surface. We will do a rectangle again, start in the corner, pull out, holding the Alt key, pull out at somewhere, and the distance on that should be 60. And there is a cut across it that we'll put in by using the line tool, and simply draw anywhere to anywhere. Hit escape, go to dimension, which is D for dimension. We'll dimension from the end of that, or the corner, out to that at 15. We will dimension from this corner to that corner again at 15. Green check mark, and then we will select the intersection or intersegment. Go up, and that is a vertical distance according to the blueprint of 42. And there we go. We made one mistake though. When I did it, I allowed it to do an add, and it has become part of this solid. I did not want that. I want to do a new, which makes a second part down here in the parts. So I'm going to say check mark, And then, because I have two parts, I can hide one part and just have one part. Now what I need to do is cut this corner off of this and one on the other side. So I'm going to select that surface as a drawing surface, start a sketch, move in, do a user convert, project, whatever you want to call it, to get the boundary. I'm going to take a line and draw a line diagonally across here. Do not let it catch the center point or the corner point or it will not work. You need to come into nothing it's going to try to establish a constraint to. Hit escape. Again, these two dimensions are 15. This is green check mark. We will select the corner to remove. Go to remove, go to through all, so it cuts all the way to the back, and hit check mark, and that cuts one corner off of that. Now we need to cut this other corner, because if you remember, this is where we are. We're here, so we need to cut this other corner to get it to be right. So we'll turn this part off and cut this corner by starting a sketch on that surface. Go to use convert, do a line tool, go diagonally across, escape. They're 15 on both corners on this also. Green check mark, pick up that corner. We're going to go to extrude, remove, through all, check mark, and it cleaned out that. And we have the part. All we need now is to make a sheet metal part out of it. If you go back and look at this, we have the part in the corner. We simply need this bottom surface and these two sides. So we're going to go up to sheet metal and start a sheet metal model. There are bunches and bunches and bunches of selections. We're going to take thicken. We're going to take these presets and we're going to select the three surfaces we want to be the sheet metal parts when we get through. We're going to select cylinders and edges to bend, and we're going to tell it we want it to bend that edge and that edge, and do a check mark. And when we get through, there's our part with this stuck in the middle. Now the one thing you'll notice, and I did it so you would see it, our sheet metal part is a good deal bigger than the slug we made. The reason for that is if you'll open sheet metal feature again, you'll see there is an arrow here, and the arrow says opposite direction. What it does, it makes a thick based on a direction from the surface. It was pointed outward, so the thick was added outward. We want the thick to be added inward, so we'll click this, check that, and when you get it, you should get variegated surfaces, which means you've got two parts occupying the same space. If you come over and you hide part 2, you'll have your sheet metal part. If you hide part 3 and go back to part 2, you have your slug. We'll go back to part 3 and we're almost through. All we lack is putting holes in these, and I'm going to suggest that you want to extend this corner just a little bit so you have something maybe to tack weld on this to make it stronger. Do a P for hide the planes. Ooh, that is dark. Let me change the color of that. That is so dark. Let me go to something there. That's much better. We're going to extend this face out to this edge, which is 5 millimeters, and we're going to do it with something called Move Face. It's a fairly simple, primitive thing, but it works really good. We're going to select that face. We're going to type in 5 millimeters, green check mark, and now we have added enough that we have an overlapping corner that you can tack weld, make a much stronger gusset. As far as the shape of the corner, in the tool we pulled up, there are all kinds of options for types of corners. There are simple corners, there are all kinds of corners, and I'm not a sheet metal guy and I'm not going there, but that training course I showed you will walk you through a lot of that. Okay, to get the holes in, the holes are 30 millimeters from this edge and 30 millimeters up from here. So let's go to this surface, start an extrude. No, not an extrude. Start a sketch on that surface. Hello, that worked much better. And now we're going to go to line, going to go to construction line, and we're going to catch the bottom of that if we can. We should be able to. We can catch that corner right there. And we're going to go up, and we're going to type in 30. If you're going vertical, you'll get a variegated line. If you're going horizontal, you'll get a variegated line. We're going to go across and type 30. When we type 30, that will pull the bottom point in line, and we will be in the right place. And we have a fully defined point because it turned black. So we will go green check mark, hole tool, go to simple, start from part, through all, and we're doing this with a 4 millimeter screw or bolt, and we're doing it with a clearance size hole with a normal clearance. You can do close, loose, normal, whatever you want. You can do clearance tap drilled, pipe drilled, all kinds of things in these menus when you start looking. But basically all we have to do is set it up for an ISO clearance for 4 millimeter on a normal fit and click right there. And we have a hole. Now, if we turn this up and turn it around to that face, do a sketch, do a normal. This should be line, construction, vertical up, and it should be 30, and it should be 22 over, and escape, and green check mark, and go back to the hole tool and simply click it. And we got it. We turn this around, we go on that face, sketch, we go line tool, construction, catch it, go up 30, go across, catch this line going horizontal, 22, green check mark, hole tool, right there, got it. And that finishes our part. If we go back and we turn on part 1, you can see now that it fits right in. This goes into the tabletop, this goes into the 2 rails, and we've got it made. If you come over on the right side, there is a sheet metal view as a flat pattern. It is everything the shop needs to bend you one. If you want to make a drawing of it, you can right-click part 3, say create drawing of part 3. I normally go to custom, in this case a B in millimeters, Don't include a border, don't include a title block, and just hit OK. And it will try to give you that, but that's not what you want. Hit Escape and go to Insert, select the Insert tab, and what you want is you want flat patterns, and you want flat pattern of part 3, and bring it over, and it's going to be real small, so you can come in and make it 2 to 1, make you a nice big flat pattern. And it has, and then hit Escape, and it has the flat pattern cutout. Normally you would want a what they call a virtual sharp, which is up here in the toolbar. You select a horizontal and a vertical, and you get a little bitty plus sign dot. Doesn't do much, but you can take the 2-point center line and go from it to this corner, and you can go from the plus sign up to the other corner, and it shows what the virtual sharp would be for visual purposes. Now we can go to what it says hole table here. This is the advantage of using the hole tool we used. It's going to make life real nice. In the table we've got show data, location, etc. views. It wants to know what view we're working on. We're working on this view. And it says what is the X direction? The X direction is that direction. What is the Y direction? The Y direction is that direction. And see, it's put in X and Y arrows to show you where it is. And we're going to hit green check mark, and then we're going to come over and drop this on the drawing. And from this coordinate point right here, these are the XY dimensions to the center of those 3 holes for your NC guy to set up his press for. It already comes in, and that's one of the advantages of having the hole tool. Anyway, that's about all there is to this lesson. Hope you guys had fun. If you're interested in something similar, give me a holler, let me know.